All right, guys, so super thrilled about this video. I'm now a Ravin ambassador, really thrilled and honored to be that. But they sent me this Ravin LR to hunt with this year and to really put this thing through some paces. So really excited, man. It just feels good in your hands right from the get. Very comfortable feel. So I haven't shot it yet. So we're just going through, got the scope mounted in place and got all that leveled. And so I'm gonna take a 10-yard shot to start with. It's really nice so far. So we're gonna get going on this thing. We're gonna kind of review this, go over all the features of this thing. Gonna be hunting with it this year. So we're just gonna do everything I learned about this thing and just put it in video for you. So I wanna thank Ravin for the opportunity here. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hit that like and subscribe. All right, guys, so when I get a crossbow to review, I don't just pull it out of the box, start shooting it, and just do a review on it and go over to a review. I like to use it a little while, put it through some paces, and I've had the Ravin LR for about a month now. So I'm gonna take you back to the beginning, first shot, you know, getting this thing sighted in, how it's shooting, and then really kind of go over everything about this crossbow for you, because I've actually been hunting with it. I like to get a good feel for things before I just put a review out there. So I'm ready to do that now. I've been enjoying hunting with this. I'll just tell you that from the start. It feels good in my hands. But I want to walk you through everything. We're going to start off with going over the specs, and then we'll show you how to cock, load, unload this, and all the features of it, and what makes this thing unique. You guys hang with me, and let's go to the specs.
So we are looking at a length of 34 inches and an axle to axle width of 6 inches when it's cocked and 10.5 inches when it's uncocked. So that's only a difference of 2.25 inches on either side from cocked to uncocked. So when you fire that thing, you only have to worry about 2 1/4 inches of your limb deflecting on anything. So you can shoot this thing a lot tighter of space than other models. The weight comes in at 8.10 pounds, which is a little bit on the heavier side for a number of models that are out there, but I think that really comes into play with the recoil reduction that you get and just the accuracy factor that comes with this crossbow. The LR is also super fast at 450 feet a second, delivering 180 foot-pounds of kinetic energy. Plenty to get the job done for sure. To get this crossbow cocked, it only requires 12 pounds of force as you're cocking it using the fully integrated silent cocking system that works in conjunction with Ravin's patented track trigger firing system, which we're going to talk about more later because it's super cool what they've done with this.
All right, guys, so that's the basic specs of the crossbow. Now we're going to talk about some of the features. And some of these features Ravin has used for a long time and have patents on. And I just kind of want to, if you're new to Ravin, crossbows, or technology, just kind of want to go through them with you guys and kind of explain them to you. And we're going to look over some of the features of this crossbow. And then once we're done with that, we're going to talk about its capabilities as far as shooting. And then we're going to get into like the real world stuff, like what I've experienced hunting with them, the little things that I'm doing maybe while I use the LR. So that's what we're going to do next. All right, guys. I'm going to show you how you cock and decock this. But before that, I want to talk about some of the technology in the cocking mechanism and the design that Ravin has in a lot of their crossbows, including the LR. Okay, what makes Ravin's unique is some of their patented technology they put into their crossbows. And this is really what helps with their accuracy, their speed, and these different things like that based on performance, okay? One is the helicoil system that they've designed for their cams, where the string grooves go into a helical away from the cams, if you will, and that basically keeps everything balanced. The reason it needs to be balanced is because Ravins have what they call a frictionless flight system. And I'll show you that once we load an arrow in here, is that arrow never touches the rail and the string never runs across the rail either. So it saves on your string life and your cable life. But it also has, another thing is their track trigger firing system, which is basically this unit right here, which is very different than all other manufacturers of crossbows. This unit is a track firing trigger system, and it contains a trigger assembly. It contains the anti-dry fire components as well as the safety on this device. So what we're going to do to cock this is we're going to basically take this and move it forward until it latches onto the string, and let's do that right now. All right, first thing I want to do is remove our cocking handle. So we're going to pull that out. It's nicely stored right there. Set that aside for the moment. Okay, so I'm going to put the handle on for a moment, and I'm going to take some tension off by pulling on the handle, and then I'm going to lower the lever with my thumb. And then, once that's done, I'm going to take the handle off, okay? And now I'm going to take this track trigger system and we're going to run it down the track to the string, and we're going to push until it clicks on the string. Hear that click? That guarantees it's centered on the string at all times. You see this long tether strap here? That's your mechanism for cocking. That's what's going to wind up inside here when you go to cock this thing. Very different than a lot of other crossbow designs that use the cable, or the strings rather. Some of them go in different, around a loop in the back here and string down there, and always worried about cutting the string. This is pretty much contained, right? And we're going to go ahead and put the handle back on now. And now I'm going to start cocking the crossbow. And as I'm cocking this, it's very easy to do in the tree stand. And I'm just going to keep rolling this back. It's 12 pounds of force. And at any moment I need to stop, I can stop. And it's silent. Did you see that? That's pretty cool, right? Especially if you're cocking this in your stand, it's silent. So this is really nice. And you're just going to go ahead and crank that thing back. And you'll kind of feel it stop right there. At that point, you can take your handle off. And by the way, once this engages to the string, it automatically goes to safety. So a nice feature. Now it's caught. Now we're going to load an arrow. All right, to load the crossbow, we're going to take our arrow, cock feather down. We're going to come inside the bridge like this. And you're going to see back here where the arrow's at, right? You just kind of put it right back in there. And it's going to go right in that spot there. And what you're going to do is you're going to push until it clicks. Hear that click? That's an audible click you hear. And now you feel it, it's not going anywhere. It's clicked on there. Make sure that thing clicks. Make sure you got a good solid click on that. You will get a click every time you put that arrow on. There's now loaded and ready to fire. So this is kind of the frictionless flight system here. Look at that string, how parallel it is with the arrow. The arrow is not touching anything but the string in the back, and there's a couple ball bearings up at the very front that this thing rolls over. So strings aren't hitting cables or anything. That's the frictionless flight system. So when you think about the frictionless flight system, guys, if you came from rifle, this isn't going to make a difference to you. But if you've been in compound bows for years and now later in life switched over to crossbow like I did, if you've kind of been down that road, think about arrow rest on compound bows, right? We had flipper rest and went to all kinds of stuff, the whisker biscuit and all stuff. But eventually it ended up with drop away rest, right? So the air that drops away once the air is released, which again reduces friction and interference on that arrow for the flight, right? And that's the same concept of the frictionless flight system here that they patented. And that's what helps with the accuracy and the speed that these things can produce. All right, so you're hunting and you want to decock this crossbow. So I want to show you how to do that. Now, my last crossbow I was hunting with, you couldn't decock it. You basically had to shoot it at a target, which a lot of crossbows are like that. You shoot at a target. And the good thing about that is that you always know that your scope is on, there's nothing wrong with your crossbow if every time you get done, you're shooting it. The downside with that is you've got a cocked crossbow, and even though you take your arrow out of it, you're still lowering it down the tree stand cocked. You're transporting it cocked all the way back to wherever you have a target. And that may be in a golf cart ride, a side-by-side ride. It may be in a long hike through the woods with a cocked crossbow, which I never really like doing, to be honest with you. But it's just the way things are for those things. So there is a lot of comfort in being able to decock this crossbow in the stand before you ever get down with it. So let me show you. It's very simple to do this. It's a very safe procedure that they've set up for this. First thing you want to do is obviously remove your arrow. And to do that, we need to come up in the front of the bridge area up here, and we're going to have to pull a little force to get it to unclick, and then we'll pull our arrow out, okay? We still have a cocked crossbow. We're going to come back up here with our handle, and we're going to take a little force off by pulling the lever back a little bit and then pushing our lever down. Now you need to hold the lever down and slowly go back with it. Now remember, there's 12 pounds of force coming on, there's 12 pounds of force going off, it feels like. So do this slowly, but hey, if my hand gets tired, let off the trigger right here, and I can stop, okay? Stop at that moment. Now, again, I'll have to put a little more pressure on it, put my finger on the lever again, and hold that lever down. And you can do this in your tree stand, and then you don't have to worry about a loaded crossbow ready to go, okay? You can take your handle off, put it back in its place, snap it into place, and you are good to go. Now, after you've decocked your crossbow, the trigger system will still be engaged with the string. It's connected, and that's perfectly fine. And you'll have your tether out, not a problem at all. Just next time you're going to cock it and go with it. So no problem having it in this position. Okay, so far as the cocking and decocking of this thing, I have hunted out of a ladder stand, out of a climber out of a Hang On Millennium 150 stand. And all three types of stands, I have cocked this, loaded the arrow once I'm up in the stand and situated, ready to hunt. I've decocked this at the end of the hunt before I ever climb down. It's not hard to do in the stand. It's really easy with their system. Very comfortable to do it. You're not like worried about anything or things hit anything. And it's really nice because it's got such a, you know, a small profile between these limbs, axle to axle. Again, we talked about it, 6 inches to 10.5. Very small profile, so it's not hard to do. You can do it in any kind of stand, really, that I've experienced. So whether it's a hang-on or a climber or a ladder. So there's no reason to not go ahead and pull that arrow out and decock the crossbow before you come down. Just a safety thing. All right, guys, let's talk about the scope. It's a 1x8x by 24 illuminated reticle. It's a single crosshair you get in this thing. So a lot of manufacturers going with the speed zoom type scopes, you know, where you're sighting in at a certain distance and then you'll adjust at a different distance with a speed zoom. This is a single crosshair, which is nice in the fact that there's no, you know, everybody's done this. There's none of this problem where you're, was that 20 or 30, you know, or was it 40 yards? Or did I use a 30-yard pin? That goes away. It's just a crosshair right in the middle of the scope. And they've got this adjustable turret. So there's a marker right below the 20 here, if you can see that. Let's see if I can get that filmed in there. And that spot is at 20 yards right now. That's what it's sighted in at. And the idea being is if it's out at 30 yards, I would simply turn it to here. If it's out to 40, I would turn it to here, and so forth. And this thing goes all the way to an incredible 130 yards. Now, when you get this crossbow, it comes with this label here. And you put this on. And they've got labels, you know, a lot of them, very specific. They also test these crossbows out in the fact that they shoot them 3 times, check the speed 3 times before they ship it out, and they write it on a tag. This one clocked at 453 feet a second. I chose to use the 450 feet a second label instead of the 453 because I imagine there's going to be a little bit of string stretch over time. So I'm starting with that one. Being that it's sighted at 20, this turret is built to go with this crossbow with a 400 grain arrow, and I should be able to set to any setting and hit my target. The other thing about the scope, guys, is it is very, very clear. And I'm using it sitting on a 4X. And I imagine when you get out to 60, 80, shooting that long range stuff, you'll crank it up to the 8X. But for hunting distances, 4X seems to look really good. It's just a very clear image, that scope. It feels like it's a high-end scope when you're looking through it. The glass just looks really, really good. I will tell you, it's pretty nice having a scope with just a single set of crosshairs, and you know you're good. There's no question, what am I doing? Sometimes, you know, if you've hunted for any length of time, you've used the wrong reticle at one point or another, or wrong hash mark, you know. The ballistic turret is pretty amazing. So I initially sighted at 20 yards. First I started at 10 just to get my windage. I'm gonna aim low on the target because I think that's kind of where it's maybe lined up right now. And we're gonna see how this does. First shot with a Ravin LR. Not bad, not bad. And then it was pretty close. And then I dialed in 20. And I was using the bipod. It's nice, you got a Picatinny rail up there that you can add attachments to. It fits really great in a tripod as well. And I set it at 20, got it going at 20, no problem. And then what I wanted to do before I changed anything is I wanted to go back to 30 yards to kind of get an idea of what my drop would look like when I'm shooting 20-30. And just watch this. Okay guys, I want to show you something here. Testing more with the LR, got it sighted in the other day. This thing just feels good in my hands. But tonight, what I want to do was, you know, I've got it sighted in it. You know, I sighted in with a bipod, pretty locked down with that. I did take some freehand shots. So now I want to say, okay, if I'm just freehand shooting, what is that drop going to be at 450 feet a second from 20 yards to 30 yards? That's kind of what I want to know, right? So I shot this guy right here, freehand at 20 yards. No bipod, no rest, no nothing. And you see that shot right there, okay? So then I backed up to 30 yards. I sat in a chair, so I'm propping on my leg, so it's still, you know, I don't have a bipod or anything like that. And I said, I'm not gonna turn the turret dial to 30 yards. I just wanna see how much that drop's gonna be at 20 yards. So there's probably some, you know, just me freehand shooting it, but this was my 30-yard shot with the 20-yard setting on the turret. Not much difference, right? So I'm sure there's a little bit of drop there, and just being freehanded still hit there. But I mean, I'm gonna do this a few more times, but like, wow, right? I mean, think about it, like 10 to 30, just one dot, right? At 450 feet a second, it seems like. So That's pretty amazing. So now that you see that there's hardly any drop between 20 and 30, I did go ahead and set it to 40 yards. I shot that. All right, that's what circle I was aiming at 40 yards. We're right on elevation there. Took it out to 60 yards, spun the turret. I better turn this back down to 20, which is typically where I'm hunting, so I don't forget. And I'm gonna tell you what, 60, it was right there. All right, I'm gonna try this at 60 yards now. Go ahead and turn my turret to the 60-yard marker. Let's see what we can do. I'm just gonna aim for the center of the target because long range is not my forte. Boom, oh my gosh, right there on the money. Wow, wow. I was aiming just for the center of the target, and I didn't do too bad there. I mean, the center would be like right here, and that's probably due to my inability to shoot accurately to a tee like that, but 60 yards, not too bad. Now, I'm not the most accurate rifle shooter, and that's really what you're doing here. I'm more of a close range kind of person. And typically my hunting scenarios are up close as well. And I've got another video with some tips for crossbow hunters, and I'll put a link up to it. But basically, one of the videos is how far should you shoot, not how far can you shoot. So this LR, they're shooting it out to 130 yards and nailing a target, a 3-inch group at 130 yards. And there's no videos out there doing that. And one of the things that's always been in my mind when it comes to long range crossbow shooting is it's very different than a rifle. And it's interesting, in Ravin's documentation they give you in the little manual, it talks about when you're going to do the long range shooting, that the equivalent of shooting a crossbow at 100 yards is like a marksman shooting at 1,000 yards with a rifle. There's a lot more skill involved. You got to take windage into play. You got to take those kind of things, consider all those different things. You got to really have good breath control, really good release, a really good follow through. You have to really be honed in order to do that accurately all the time. So having said that, I just want to reiterate, this thing is scheduled to do that. And I'll probably do another video where all I do is just some long range shooting to try that piece out. This video is going to be more about the review and its capabilities from a hunting perspective. I'm going to just throw this out there, and some may disagree. Just because you can shoot 100 yards doesn't mean you got to take a shot at an animal 100 yards. But this thing is fun to shoot at these distances though. But we're going to do some more long range stuff on another video. A couple other nice things about this crossbow to talk about. These are little things that a lot of crossbows don't have. Some of these high end ones do, but adjustable cheek piece, so you can adjust this, change the height on this. Adjustable stock butt, okay, you can pull this out to varying distances as well. Again, we did say it's ambidextrous on the crank. The safety's ambidextrous as well. It's on both sides. Okay, one other thing I want to point out, guys, is the grip here. Of course, it's got all the safety features, really wide safety plates here to keep your hands from going up in the frame, but the grip, it's a nice wide rubberized grip here. And what's nice about this wide grip is it does fit into a tripod, like a bug pod or something like that. Fits in there real snugly. But also, I'm the kind of guy that I don't like to hang my crossbow up. I like it in my lap, right? And this makes it a lot more comfortable having that wide grip here sitting on my leg versus something that's narrow that's kind of wearing into you. But I do like this grip. It's really nice and comfortable. And then one other thing I want to point out, one of the reasons why it's so nice in the tripod and everything, and just holding it. And what I found is, I'm shooting from the bench with a bipod, and then I go back and I shoot just kind of resting on my leg, and I'm seeing no difference. And it's because I think it comes into just the design of this with the weight, the length, and everything. They designed this to kind of absorb some of the recoil, which always helps. But it amazes me how on I am when I'm not using a bipod. I'm just kind of freehanding if you're just resting against my body. Check this out. Look how well the balance is. Right there in the middle, guys. That's where the balance of this thing's at. So it's not front heavy, it's not rear heavy. The balance is right there. So that's really, I think, what helps to the accuracy of this thing as well. So guys, overall, I'm really happy with this crossbow, man. It just fits really good. It's really accurate from what I can see. If there's only thing I can think about that I would do to this thing, which I probably will do, and this is not a Ravin LR thing, this is just an all crossbow scope kind of thing, is, you got your flip caps up, right? And you're sitting there in a stand, and all of a sudden you bump it, and you get that noise from the flip, bumping the flip caps. So I'm probably going to take a little moleskin and put it right underneath this cap, right on the edge of this cap here, just to help stop with that noise if I bump it while I'm out there hunting. But other than that, I think I'm even going to take the saddle hunting. I think it's narrow enough up front on the front end that I can do that. So I'm probably gonna try that in another week or so. And that's the only thing I haven't tried with it. I've given it a ladder, a climber, a hang on, you know, like I said, cocked and decocked, all that through there. It just feels good up there. So yeah, guys, if you want a high-end crossbow, this is a really nice crossbow. And you can say maybe I'm biased, but this thing has been, I mean, it's been awesome. It really has been. So anyway, I'd encourage you to go check it out because I'll be shooting with this year. Looking forward to taking some animals with it, hopefully soon here. Anyway, guys, I just want to wrap that up with you, and we're going to do some more videos. We're going to be looking at the R18, which is a totally different model coming out. We'll definitely be doing some saddle hunting with that one. It's a totally different league, the R18 is. So we're going to look at that one as well. But I've got a number of hunts planned with this one, and so hopefully we're going to see how it does once we get some game that I can take a shot at. I've been letting everything I've seen walk so far. So there's a few that I'm waiting on. So we'll just see how that goes. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and we will catch you next time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that shot was perfect. That felt good.
Let's go with. Nailed that sucker. Look at that. Oh yeah. I think we're dialed in, guys.